Now, I told you when I come back to this channel, I'm coming back and I'm coming back better than ever. And I'm going to hold strong to that promises. We have a very exciting and fun topic for today, my week 2 NFL overreactions. Now, I do want to preface everything I'm about to say by also saying, did not get an opportunity to rewatch these games. So when we get into the in-depth analysis, the game breakdowns, the game recaps, and then the film analysis, understand that I've gotten to watch that again. So some things I may say, I didn't get to see the all 22 view. I didn't get to rewatch that one like I did see it in live game time action. So I do want to say that. But as we get into my overreactions, I want you guys to comment down below in the comments. Reality or overreaction? Let me know what you think about these takes and which I'm about to spew. And I think I got some pretty good ones. Now I'm going to start with rapid fire. I think CJ Stroud is going to be very good. Even though the Colts, they got into a situation where they're really playing ahead. They don't want to give up anything deep, so it's garbage time stats, but still CJ Stroud making all the throws, being accurate, throwing the ball to Tank Dell, Nico Collins having a big game. Some of the things in which I saw, and even improvising. Shaq Mason was the only starting offensive lineman which played for the Texans. So I look at that and say, with what you had, with everything you had to work with, you still had a pretty solid game. Your first game in the NFL over 300 yards. I got to clap it up for CJ Stroud. Now, Matt Milano, I don't know how many people watch the Bills, or I don't know how many people watch linebacker play, but he's getting in that conversation. He was an All-Pro last year, and he's getting up there with Roquan and Fred Warner. He is. I mean, he dunked on Josh Jacobs. I don't know if you saw that interception. You probably should have if you looked at anything within the NFL, because Jimmy Garoppolo kind of threw it away, gave it to Josh Jacobs with the check down. Matt Milano, he went over the top, dunked on his head, got the interception. That was big time. And I saw him making big time plays last week in Monday Night Football against the New York Jets. So I think it's going to be another all-pro season. He's battling right now, like I said, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, and then it's Matt Milano right in the thick of it. That's one thing I want to spew out. Some of the other things I saw. Shaquille Barrett having a big-time game, getting a pick six, getting a sack on Justin Fields. We're about to talk about another Tampa Bay Buck. You probably see him in the thumbnail. But some other things in which I probably can think about. Jordan Love had a pretty solid showing, even though they lost. Desmond Ridder, still really out on him. Bijan Robinson, though, equals Adrian Peterson. I mean, he had a great showing. Really, everything I expected is what I'm seeing. Probably going to have a film breakdown on him as well. So I really think those are some of the quick things in which I can think about right now, talking about my week 2 overreactions rapid fire wise. But getting into my actual takes, the first thing I want to say is that Baker Mayfield is actually good. And I comment down below, reality or harsh overreaction, because I look at what he did. 26 of 34, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, and shout out Dave Canales, because Baker Mayfield has been through a lot of head coaches. He's been through a lot of offensive coordinators, and I'm not giving any excuses, but I want to tell the facts, because when he was playing for the Cleveland Browns and he was healthy, and Odell was healthy, and all the guys were healthy, Jarvis Landry was healthy, David Njoku, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, he had Nick Chubb, and he was throwing the heck out of the football. I'm seeing a guy who still has the velocity, who still has the touch and the accuracy, and can make decisions within the pocket. His pocket presence, something that I'm seeing. And there were a couple of plays, about 2 to 3 times, where guys on the Chicago Bears really were draped over him. These are 290, 300-pound defensive linemen. He's shaking them off, scrambling for the first down, keeping his eyes downfield, making throws on the run. Listen. You can comment down below what you think about this, but I really think it was a good game. And really with Dave Canales, I think that he has a perfect balance of balancing the pass and the run, what we see out of Tampa Bay. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bears next, because there's something I want to say. But, I mean, Mike Evans, 6 catches, 171 yards, 1 touchdown. And when I clocked Baker Mayfield, I believe this was either in the beginning of the 4th or really late in the 4th. He was 11 of 12 on 3rd down passing. That's big time quarterback play. I don't care who you are. I don't care what level. 11 to 12 on 3rd down. I'm clocking it, booking it, setting it, and forgetting it. Now my next thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Chicago Bears, and I'm talking about Justin Fields. I'm talking about Luke Getsy. I'm talking about all the offensive linemen. Nate Davis wasn't out there, but in week 1, he wasn't any better than what we saw today. Shout out Ja'Tyre Carter. He came in, stepped up, and started for the team today. But down there, right, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Cody Whitehair. I'm calling them. Roshan Johnson had a pretty solid game, but really, with the route concepts, we're not going to talk about everything because we don't have enough time for this video, but You got guys working routes on one side of the field. Why are we closing off the left side of the field? Why are we telling Justin Reed a dagger concept or a flood concept only to the right when there's nothing backside to work? There's no check down and he's reading the pressure. And with Justin Fields, I get frustrated because he's dropping back in the pocket and he's so methodical. Justin Fields plays quarterback like there's nobody pass rushing. Listen. I don't know if that's a wild analogy, but I really watch the tape. If you have all 22 access, if you can even just watch the highlights, he drops back and he plays quarterback like nobody's coming. The pocket presence was bad today. Everything that I saw. Now, I do want to give credit where it's due. That first drive, his connection with DJ Moore, that's translated from training camp. I'm loving that. DJ Moore, continue to get him the football. He needs 100 yards, 90 yards. He needs close to that every single game. He needs those targets every single game. He's a number one receiver. Cole Kmet, the jury's still out on him for me. He missed some blocking assignments, missed some other things. I still have to see more from him. But Chase Claypool, I want to shout him out. Credit where it's due. He came out of week 1. A lot of people weren't satisfied with what he did. Week 2, more effort, blocks, catching the football, doing the dirty work. Shout him out. Because you want to bash him when he doesn't do things well. He did some things better today, so I want to give that credit. But Justin Fields, the drive where they went up to 17 points, they essentially had 17 points in this game. It was 27-17. So when I look at that, I say that was a good drive. Like I said, the first scoring drive was a good drive, but outside of that, I'm just wondering. So when I say Justin Fields, I look at him and I'm not really satisfied with what I'm seeing right now. There were a lot of things in which I talked about in film breakdowns last year, which I thought he could get better at. And he has gotten better at some things, but it's consistency. It's not that he can't do it, and it's always been this, because he sees the read, doesn't throw the football. It's the consistent things. You see Justin Fields, he scrambles. And one thing, Luke gets, you're not scrambling him enough. You're not running the design quarterback runs enough. That's another topic for another day, but I have to say, what do you guys think? Reality, overreaction? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm setting that and forgetting that. Next thing I want to get into, Anthony Richardson. Please keep yourself healthy. I mean, you're a great quarterback. You can throw the football, the design quarterback run. Shane Steichen is having a blast with you. You're a true alien. And I want to see you have a long career. I want to see you play for at least a decade, if not more. So one thing I'll say is stop taking those big time hits. Please, I'm praying. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan checking this video out, you understand exactly what I'm saying. He's doing all the right things, but he's not getting down. He's not sliding. He's not getting out of bounds. And Josh Allen, you tried to dive over somebody today in the red zone. I believe it was your ex-teammate at Wyoming and Nate Hobbs, but just different types of things in which I'm seeing. I don't know why. You have to stay healthy. And I'm not sure if he actually has a concussion right now, but I know he went out on concussion protocol. So that's one thing I'll say. Gardner Minshew, he came in, had a really solid game against CJ Stroud. Minshew Mania, shout him out as well. But when I look at that, I say, I just want this guy to stay healthy. Regardless of the 2 rushing touchdowns, you have to keep running them. That is a part of his game and his skill set, but he has to learn himself, within himself. Get down, get out of bounds, do whatever I can to secure my health and eventually secure the bag and secure victories for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I'm setting that and forgetting that. Let me know if this is no reaction, please, because this is a take that I have and that I really like. I think this may be the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had to this point. Now, he held a top 5 offense last week in the Detroit Lions without Chris Jones to 21 points. Actually 14 points because Brian Branch had to pick 6, so you did that. And I think that it was week 1. Ben Johnson still trying to get some of those kinks out. Credit to both sides, but I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs and I'm saying, he had Tyrann Mathieu. He had some other guys. He had Frank Clark, big-time playoff guy. But I'm thinking this defense, you got Trent McDuffie on one side. Whoa, I don't want to go there. You got L'Jarius Sneed on one side. Whoa, I don't want to go there. You got Willie Gay, Nick Bolton in the middle. Whoa, I don't want to run the ball. You got one of the top 2 to 3 interior defensive linemen in Chris Jones. Whoa, I don't want to pass, throw it. I don't want to do anything. Triple team, double team that guy. Then you got Justin Reed in the back end. Then you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side. I'm looking at this defense and I'm saying George Karlaftis is looking better in year 2. Felix Udike-Uzama, he's getting to the football. Mike Danna, he's getting to the football. Hey, you watch out. Jacksonville Jaguars, I thought they had opportunities to win this game. I thought it is going to be an explosive offense, but I thought it would be a lot more points today at least. It was a home game for them, Kansas City coming down. And then I was just surprised. 17-9 out of this game. Trevor Lawrence, he was 22 of 41 in this game. So I'm looking at all of those things and I'm saying, hey, We look at Patrick Mahomes, and some people are saying Patrick Mahomes is washed. That is an overreaction. I think that when you win those 2 Super Bowls, you win the MVPs, he's not washed. Joe Burrow's not washed either. I do want to rapid fire that one out there. But I look at that in the totality of it and everything they did. I'm really sold on this. They held the Jacksonville Jaguars to 3-12 on third down. They were 0-2 on fourth down. They had 4 sacks. I aforementioned the guys who got sacks. And they were actually holding the Jacksonville Jaguars to 9 points, but the Kansas City Chiefs had 3 turnovers on offense. So they were put in some tough positions, and they still made Jacksonville settle for the field goal. They still made them go 3 and out. Clap it up for those guys. That's one of the better performances of the day. I don't know how many people are going to talk about it. 74 rush yards for Jacksonville, 197 passing yards for Jacksonville. My last uploaded video is a video on Calvin Ridley. Why I think he can be a top 5 receiver in the game. Christian Kirk went for over 100 yards. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, he's making spectacular catches. Trevor Lawrence, he was the number 1 pick for a reason. He's showing us that. Still got held to 9 points today. Clap it up once again. I mean, that's exceptional for me. Now, I think that we're getting into some of the other things I like. Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley's getting on that hot seat for me. You bring in Vic Fangio. I'm not going to say the defense had a terrible day. I thought Ryan Tannehill, contrary to what I saw against the New Orleans Saints, I thought he was comfortable. I thought he was throwing the football. Traylon Burks shot him out. He had a big-time game. DeAndre Hopkins made some timely catches. Derrick Henry ran the football a little bit. But I think that with Brandon Staley, you're this quote-unquote defensive mastermind. You bring in Kellen Moore. And it's not even scheme because I can talk about X and O's. I can do a film breakdown. And it's not that. I'm so frustrated with the fact that you have this team and they're supposedly so great, but you're losing with all of this talent. You got Derwin James. You got Kenneth Murray. He had a big-time game. Eric Kendricks, Dan Henley, all of those guys that you have, J.C. Jackson on the back end, Asante Samuel Jr. I'm looking at all of the talent. I'm looking at Joey Bosa. He had 2 sacks on the day. I'm looking at Khalil Mack. I'm looking at the interior, and I'm saying, why are you not winning? And then when you're winning, why are you losing these big-time games? Why are teams coming back in the ball game with you? It's a lot of things I can say, and let me know if it's a reality or let me know if it's an overreaction. I think some people have been saying this for years, but it's getting real to me now. When I'm looking at Brandon Staley for this team, I'm just not 100% sold anymore like I was when he came over from the LA Rams. Now, the last take that I want to talk about, and this is probably my boldest one, which I think is actually not a real overreaction. Mike McCarthy is an exceptional play caller. Now, it's only been 2 games. You played against the New York Giants, and you played against actually Zach Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers, but you still played the Jets defense. So I'm looking at that, and I'm saying that even though the Jets had 3 turnovers, actually, even though the Jets had 4 turnovers, even though they had those turnovers, I think the biggest thing for me is that Mike McCarthy is running the football when he's up. What we saw to Kellen Moore is that he wanted Dak to be the guy, and Dak, he really put the team in some excremental and really poor situations because you're throwing the football so much, and it's not like some of those interceptions weren't on the receivers. They were, but when you're putting yourself in that position, just hand it off to Zeke, just hand it off to Tony Pollard, and actually shout out Dowdle. I don't know where he came from. I thought Deuce Vaughn would be the guy after Tony Pollard, but we're not seeing him as much. We saw him a little bit today, but I think that Dowdle's running the ball terrifically. I think that Tony Pollard, he's doing what he's supposed to do as the number 1 running back. CeeDee Lamb had a big-time game. He's a solidified number 1 coming out of the slot. So I'm liking everything I'm seeing. Now let's talk about these stats. 382 total offensive yards, 248 passing yards, 134 rushing yards, 10 of 19 on third down. That's crazy. But the biggest stat of them all, it's not yards, it's not penalties, it's not turnovers. 42 minutes of possession to 18 minutes of the Jets' total possession. You're going to win a football game 9 times out of 10 if you're doing that. It's 60 minutes in a football game. The Dallas Cowboys possessed 42 of those. I think that says enough. Tony Pollard, though, I want to see him run the ball more effectively a little bit. Looking at the offensive line, Zach Martin was blocking his tail off today. Though he had 25 carries, 72 yards. That's 2.9 on average. So just get that up a little bit. One thing I'll say, 19 carries outside of him with some other guys. Kavontae Turpin, he got some jet sweeps, different types of things that he always does. Kind of that gadget player in the system. But Dak Prescott, 31 of 38, extremely efficient. And no interceptions. Throw it out the way he didn't do it today. 255 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. And I know it's Zach Wilson. I know the Jets have 4 turnovers, but I'm still looking at this and saying Mike McCarthy is calling those plays. He's doing it. He's efficient with it. He knows when to call something and when not to call something. Also, shout out Brett Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator, not the play caller, but he still has a voice in that room. I'm liking everything I'm seeing. Let me know down below today what you think about my takes. Are these overreactions or are these real realities? Thank you for watching. As always, we're finally back with some consistency. A lot of things to talk about. We're going to dive back into it tomorrow with some of my takes after I rewatch these games. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you love NFL content, NBA content, sports content in general, this is the channel for you. And as always, we out.